Good evening, traders. Matrix here, and here is my trade recap dated December 4th. Today was a good day. Today was AMD day, and I came out green finally. All right, so here's my P&L. I basically made 60 bucks after commissions, probably only $40, but it's not about the money. It's definitely about the process. So let's not pay attention to that right now. Also, I wanna say that coming out of basically 3 red days in a row, a green day is refreshing, and uh, it helps boost my confidence and helps me understand that basically it's just me battling it out myself. So let's take a look at AMD. I took 3 trades on it today. And basically, last night in my watch list on my thesis, I was calling for a pop and a drop for basically bringing the stock back down to this area right here, this 2270. All right. So 2270, this was the mark I was looking at uh, right here, on the daily chart. And this was my main goal. And if this snaps, I was basically looking for 2250 next, and then perhaps bring it down to 22. I don't know if it could have gone down to 22, but the thesis was that was last night. I was saying looking for pop and drop from 24. The 50 SMA here was coming down on it. The stock was overextended, and I was looking for a pullback day. Okay, so let's get into the trades. AMD right here. Zooming in, here we go. Maybe I should zoom in a little bit more. Okay, so the first trade I took, here are my tickets here. It was a short at 938.09. It's basically right here on this candle. Now, when I got in this morning, once again, I fucked up. And I woke up late. I was playing with the snooze button. By the time I got up, I turned on the computer. The stock was already tanking, and it was already at this point in time, right? So once I turned on the computer, I basically watched this tank. It came back up. I saw it tap the VWAP, and this would have been the trade that had got me in. I was looking at it, and this was the VWAP slab setup that I look for every day. It's basically I should have took this, but the next candle was very important for me. If the next candle had opened flat or a little below this green candle, it would have confirmed to me that the VWAP slab is in and the setup is there, and I would have took the trade. However, I didn't. I actually waited. So I waited. This stock basically opened higher than the previous green candle, popped its head a little bit above the VWAP first, and then it got sold down. Now, as it got sold down, I was thinking, okay, I missed this trade. However, I could still get in if the next candle was weak. So the next candle opened flat, it popped up a little bit, and as it came down, this is where I took it at 2304. Right here. Yeah, right here at this spot. 2304, this is where I shorted it. I shorted it at 400 shares, and I was anticipating it to snap 23. And I was thinking if 23 snap, it would cause a panic. It would be a great trade. And my stop was a little bit above. I think my stop was a little bit above VWAP. No, I was looking at this, and that was my stop, right? Yeah, a little bit above 2310. I was looking at this candle here, where it had made significant volume, and if the stock shot up and over, I was going to stop myself out. So I shorted it, 400 shares. Next candle came out. It got me kind of worried because it popped up, it dropped, and it closed as a doji. So I held it. Let's move this arrow out of the way here. So I held it But because of this action and because of my emotional state, my confidence being shot coming off 3 red days in a row, I'm trying to fight through this. And I looked at my share size at 400 shares. And basically, I was thinking to myself, okay, this is scary. I oversized it. So if the stock gave me a chance, I was going to size down. As it comes up and pops through, it breached my stop a little bit. And I was going to wait and see how the next candle opens up. And I was also thinking that I still have the VWAP to protect me, because basically the stock rejected VWAP earlier, and here it got stuffed as well. So I was waiting and holding through, and then I actually adjusted my mental stop to a little bit above VWAP here. Okay. Now the next candle opened up. It got slapped by the VWAP again as it came down. And I believe this is the candle. Yeah. As it came down and it got back to around this 2303 area, I took half off to size down, because that would alleviate my fear a little bit and I can control my risk better sizing down. It's also very close to the 23 whole number mark. So to be quite honest, I wasn't really sure about whether the stock could snap or not. Lo and behold, it did. Next 2 candles in, I paid myself as it snapped and flushed. Where did I pay myself? At 22.90. So basically right here on this candle. Okay, I saw this candle come down and flush, right? However, I did look at the volume, and to me, this wick closed as kind of like a buyer's candle, buyers coming back in. So I got a little worried. The next candle opened, it started popping. I'm like, oh, fuck, why didn't I pay myself? As it came back down a little bit, I paid myself and took half off right here. Now I have 100 shares left, and I basically wrote it. Now, as I'm writing this, I saw these 2 candles happen, and they look like a buyer's candle to me. They had significant volume, and I basically just held it. By this time, I was intent on looking to add, or I stop out at where I entered the trade. So as I was watching this come back up, it tagged the VWAP again, right? And once it did tag the VWAP with the significant volume, it basically got very wicky. This to me was a seller's candle. So on the next candle, as it came back down, I added 100 shares back in, basically the shares that I took out, and I added right here as it snaps the previous green candle. Okay, so as it was showing weakness, once again I added, because it basically confirmed the VWAP slap for me, and I added the 100 shares back in. And then next candle, my next exit was at the 57 mark. So here, so basically now I'm holding 200 shares. I did not pay myself once again as it comes down to the support area, which I should have. Okay, because basically the stock held here, and as it came down, it kind of double bottom, and I was already kicking myself as I was holding through and did not pay myself. So as it come up, came right back down, and it gave me one more chance. So I took it off. I paid myself. I took off half right around this area, as it seemed to be a triple bottom. It seemed to me like a triple bottom, so I took that half off right here, and now I'm left with 100 shares. Now, with this last 100 shares, I was basically just watching it. The next candle, 10:02, or the next entry right here. Let's move along. Whoa. Triple bottom, 10:02. Okay, so 10:02 is right here. As the stock washed some more, it got to, where did I pay myself here? 22.79. So basically the bottom of this candle. Okay, it snapped the prior lows, So I paid myself on the first wash, took half off. Now I have 50 shares left. And on the last 50 shares, I was very content with stopping out at where my original stop out was, which is, my original entry was, which is 2304. So basically, this last 50 shares, I just rolled it. And I was looking for the bonus play. It didn't happen. It eventually stopped me out right around here. Okay. And that was it. That was trade number one. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tickets on it. Trade number one. That's it. It was a good trade in a sense. I did make some mistakes on it. First of all, I doubted myself here. And second of all, I sized in a little too much. But otherwise, this execution was not bad, in my opinion. And setting the stop right here was absolutely fine because I basically paid myself the whole way. So it wasn't a great gain monetary-wise as far as the results go because it was 7 tickets and the commissions did add up, but it was a green trade nonetheless. So moving on. The next trade was a long trade at 11:12. So let's take a look at that here. Actually, let's zoom out here. Move the chart along a little quicker. Here we are. 11:12. Right about here. Okay. So this is where I bought it. Right at this candle. Okay. Now, I want to talk about what my thesis was. Basically, by this time, the stock was, it hit a low right here. Okay. This was the day's low. And I already had this trend line mapped out. I think I had it mapped out. I think I had it mapped out something like this. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. I had this trend line mapped out. I saw the stock came down. No, I didn't. I didn't have this trend line mapped out. I basically just watched it. I saw the stock came down. And my thesis was low of day, the stock sold off huge. Let's try for a double bottom bounce. Okay. My thesis was that the buyers will come in because we are getting into early lunch. Okay. And I basically took the trade right here, risking a little bit below the prior low. Okay. As the stock shot up, I was thinking, okay, it's working, double bottom. And then it came right back down and I took it right off at 22.73, basically 2 candles later. So I took it off right here. Okay. And it was a scratch trade. It's 6 cents. I lost 6 cents. I was never good at longing stocks. Looking at the double bottom again, learning from my lesson from yesterday, there was no significant volume. The reason I had this thesis, though, I was looking at this candle right here where the volume came in, right? This to me looks like a buyer's candle. So that's why I had the thesis of the double bottom thesis. And my plan was to take it all the way back up to VWAP. So I bought it at 200 shares and I sold it as I see it not working as it snaps because I recognized there was no significant volume here on this bounce. If the double bottom would have worked, this candle should have opened higher and be green and started running, and it should have broke through this 2280 area. So I want to mark up this 2280. Okay, it should have broke through and broke out of the 90 MA, but it didn't. So that's why I took it right off. And as you can see, 2280 made a pretty significant mark here. Once here, over here as well, and now this area where it finally snapped. So if the double bottom would have worked, I was looking for instant resolution. It didn't happen. So I took it right off on this candle as it snapped, and I cut my losses quick. And then within the same candle, I reversed my bias and I shorted it. And I shorted it right at the lows right at the low of day, right here, right? So I shorted it and I was looking for a continuation down move. Okay, now in hindsight, this was a dangerous entry. Okay, up until this point, I still didn't know if it was going to be a double bottom and shoot right back up in my face, but I took it anyways because my double bottom theory didn't work out, and I was content with risking a little bit above here at the 2280 level. So I basically had a 10-cent stop, so I shorted it, and I shorted it at 400 shares. Now from here, once again, I oversized. Had I stopped out of this trade, I would have lost about $40. And to me, with this small account, $40 is a lot to risk. So I quickly sized down once it gave me a chance. And I realized I fucked up by oversizing. And as it came down here at 2263, I basically took half off, locked in some gains. Okay, 10 cents, nothing to be proud of. It was basically a 1-to-1, but I locked that in. Now I'm sized down and I've alleviated my risk. I can hold a little bit longer. And my target was for it to reach 2250 when I entered this short initially. I was thinking, okay, it's a 3-to-1 trade. My risk to the upside was 10 cents and to the downside was, it's 2-to-1. So I was looking for losing 10 cents or winning 20 cents. So I basically held it, and it came down to 22.55 at 11.18 right here on this candle. I paid myself some more. Now by this time, I should have done what I've always preached. Basically, I paid myself a lot on this trade. I should have set that stop right at where I entered the trade, because basically the trade was over, and I should have left that little bit and just let it play out. However, because of the last 3 days being red days for me and how my confidence is shot, I'm fighting through it right now. Basically, that's not what happened. Basically, came back up, and I didn't want to lose anything out of this trade, and I covered right here on this candle as it popped up and down, because it broke through the 9 EMA, right? So I was thinking, oh fuck. And then it came back down, and it gave me a chance to take it right off, and I took it right off. Now in hindsight, obviously I made a big mistake here, because I could have set my stop, should have been set right here where I entered the trade. That way at least I won't lose anything, and I could have held some and ride this bonus down. Okay, let's zoom out of the chart a little bit. Had I not make that mistake and rided it out, it would have been another dollar gain right here to 21.50 or 21.40 here, right? There's another dollar gain on 100 shares. Even if I waited and took it on the 2220s flush, so 2220s right here on the daily chart, and took half here, that would have still been great. That's another 50 cents I could have gained, and then held the rest, right? So that's a big mistake on my part, something I really need to drill into my head. And looking at this entry now on this short entry, trade number 3, it wasn't ideal, because essentially I'm shorting into weakness. It is, I'm also shorting into the support area of the double bottom. So it wasn't a good trade. It was stupid. The perfect entry, though, if you take a look at it, was right here as this stock snapped the little consolidation uptrend. And I made a video about this in my YouTube playlist on Technical Tuesday. I believe the title was How to Enter or Join Trend or Add to a Trade. Okay, so as you can see, we have snapped a prior support level. So that being 2270s and 2280s. So this was a key support, now becomes resistance. As the stock snapped, it came back up, and I could have risked anywhere in this area. And I'm watching, the entry point would be watching this consolidation uptrend snap. Okay, as this consolidation uptrend snaps, this would have been the entry. I really contemplated on adding back in here, but I didn't because my confidence shot. So after today, it does feel good to be green again, and I'm gonna be looking forward to Thursday and hopefully drill these rules into my head. Now, looking at this one more time, I did draw this trend line, and I was watching this wash. Once again, we have broke through a key support area, okay, of 2250, a nice whole number, right? If you bring this down, I did contemplate on taking the trade once again right here. However, I didn't do it because it was past the time of my rule of 11:30, but this was also a perfect entry right here to get short, and you're basically risking the previous level here. Anywhere from 2240 to 2250, we have another key resistance zone. So right here, key resistance zone. Right. So as this uptrend snap, I thought about taking it, but I didn't because of the time of day. My rule dictates that I do not take a new trade after, and also looking at the time and at that moment, I was already 13 tickets in, so I didn't want to overtrade as well. But had I took this, hindsight 2020, obviously, but had I took this trade, let's take a look. It would have been huge. It would have been huge. So that's it for my recap. I hope you guys enjoyed what you watch. In a sense, I make this recap videos more for myself, basically recording my journey and my experience of trading, learning the trade, basically recording my growth process, the emotional side of it, and everything as well. Hopefully you guys learn something from here or pick up anything, not make the same mistakes that I make usually. And if you like the video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. And I'll be looking forward to seeing or talking to you guys, making more content in the upcoming days. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.